What's good everyone, Shura here bringing you guys a deck profile of my most favourite deck of course, and one of the most well-known decks on my channel, and of course it is Nekroz. And yes, for those of you guys out there that are thinking, what, Shura's doing a proper video, I thought he only made memes. No guys, I actually don't only make memes, I actually do deck profiles for you. So for you newly subbed people, this is kind of the format of my video. I hope you guys enjoy it. So starting off, obviously the profile, I'll go through the ritual monsters. So we play one copy of Nekroz of Decisive Armor. Decisive Armor is a really good card. It can help you out cards like Notoria Beast if you like normal summon the Dance Princess, discard Decisive Armor. For those of you who watched my live do commentary with Nekroz, that did happen before. That was an amazing thing that happened in one of my previous videos. But yeah, a lot of people didn't like Decisive Armor back when Nekroz were at full power, but I really did like Decisive Armor, and I still like it now. It's just another card you can go into. Apart from Trish, it gives you another power play in the deck, and the boosting by 1000 does really come in handy because a lot of the Nekroz monsters, as you guys already know, don't have the highest attack points. Valk and Trish have good attack points, but if your opponent summons something like, if they're playing Dark Magician and they summon a Dark Magician or something, try to ram it into Unicorn. Decisive Armor can save your Unicorn, because Unicorn is a very important card against various decks. So obviously Decisive Armor, that's one copy of that. And then next up we play the main power play of the deck. We play two copies of Nekroz of Trishula. A lot of people used to only play one back when Nekroz were at full power, but I did keep it at one and then kind of bumped it up to two. I always went between them because sometimes two was good, sometimes one was good, because if you played two you were more focused on, okay, I got to Trish him, I got to Trish him, I got to Trish him. But if you played one, it was just like, yeah, this is my power play, but I'm going to gain advantage in a different way. But Trishula is a really good card. I played two because everybody will say that, oh, you can search it off Manju, or you can search it off Senju, but obviously you only get that one normal summon, and you can search it off Brio. But the thing is, I found that a lot of the time I open up with like Kaleidoscope, Colossus, and then any other spell like a Mirror, and that gives you a Unicorn plus Trishula. But it's much better to search, like, to get your search for Valk instead of Trishula and still get your Trishula play. So I decided to play two Trishula to like increase my chances of drawing it, because if I play two Trishula then I'll get it more often, and then I won't have to search it using my Arc-Light searches or my Brio searches or stuff like that, and I can keep Valk in hand as backup, because Valk is a very good card to have in hand and it can protect your Unicorn and stuff. So I definitely think playing two Trishula is necessary. You can bump it down to one if you want. I just prefer using two, and I think it is much better to play two. And then next up we play the heart and soul of the deck, as most people like to call it, Nekroz of Valkyrius. We play three copies of Nekroz of Valkyrius. Valkyrius is really good. It's a bit hard to summon him than it was back in full power Nekroz format and Nekroz format coming after that. But still, it's an amazing card. The hand trap effect does come in handy a lot. It does save you so many times. If you get like floodgated or something, you can wait to draw an out or wait to draw something that will get rid of it, and you just keep on looping Valk, where you can like discard Valk, get it back with Unicorn, use Manjus and Senjus to keep on searching it out, and you can basically store 3 turns or 4 turns depending on what you've got in your hand at the time. So free Valk is really good. I do play one card that can help me actually get this card's effect off, because tributing monsters to draw 2 cards isn't as strong as before, because of course I am banned, and the best thing to tribute off Valk was of course me. But enough ranting about how I'm banned. Hashtag free Shura already, so if you watch this far, hashtag free Shura, considering we haven't used that hashtag in a while. So next up we play one copy of Nekroz of Gungnir. Gungnir is really good. It protects your Unicorn, because protecting Unicorn is so important. I cannot emphasize it enough. It's another card to summon. Its pop effect can be really good. You don't summon it too often. It's just another name in the deck. You can use Kaleidoscope to summon it with Colossus. I just think it's a really solid card. I do like its protection, and even if it's a dead draw, you can tribute it off with Valk, and that's why I kind of love this deck so much, because even if you draw some dead cards that you don't need, you can always get Valk onto the board and then be able to tribute off them dead cards and potentially draw into more combo pieces to go into your Trishula plays. So yeah, one copy of Nekroz of Gungnir. If you guys want to cut it, I totally understand that. I do side it out quite a bit for some of my hand traps and Denkos, and you guys know the drill. Next up we play one copy of Unicorn. It's really self-explanatory. If you're going to play a Necros deck, you have to play Unicorn. It's like one of the best cards in the deck. I just realised then I've just put Unicorn before Brio, so we'll put Brio later. But yeah, one copy of Necros of Unicorn. I was trying to do this in level order and I've just messed it up. But one copy of Unicorn, it's a hand effect. Only if it was at 2 you could use its hand effect, but you really need to get onto the field to search off Herald of the Arclight, because that is really important, and it adds another layer into your Trishula play, because if you can go for Unicorn then Trishula, that's so much stronger than just being able to go for your Trishula play, so you have to play Unicorn. And then we play Brio, which I should have said before Unicorn, but no big deal, guys. We play one copy of Necros of Brionic, because Brionic is such an amazing card. Seriously, Brionic is so good. The shuffle back to Dante down in the comment section. Shuffling back to Dante is so funny. Back in full power Necros format, you don't summon this card that often. Most of the time it's like another piece that you need to banish from the graveyard to summon Trishula, and if you want to get access to Trishula through preparation of right, you obviously have to use Brio first. So yeah, definitely play one copy of Necros of Brionic. Really want it back to 2 or even 3, but we can't obviously have what we want all the time. So that basically rounds it off. No, it doesn't. We play 3 copies of Necros of Colossus. Seriously, I don't know what's wrong with me today. 3 copies of Necros of Colossus. Colossus, really good card. It's like people would cut it down to 2 back in full power Necros format, but now you have to play 3 because you really need to get access to your spells, because you can't search them, or you don't really want to search them off the Manju or Senju, because you want to get access to your Unicorn and your Brio. So definitely 3 copies of Colossus. It would be stupid to cut this down to 2 or anything. You can cut this down to 2 and a Rota, but keeping 3 in the deck because you can potentially summon it, in my opinion, is much better than using the Rota for like a 1-card deck fin. So that actually rounds it off for the ritual monsters. Now we get into the normal effect monsters or whatever, and we do play quite a lot of these because I have got some super spicy techs. So first of all, for the Kaijus, we play 1 copy of Thunder King, 1 copy of Godaria, and 1 Gamma Seal. I used to play 3 Gamma Seal, but now I only opt to play 1 Gamma Seal because it's not needed to play 3 anymore. I used to try and like play Moray of Greed, and then I just kind of realised it bricked me too often, so I cut Gamma Seal down to 1. And I think 3 Kaijus is more than enough, to be honest. The levels are really important for the Thunder King. The other ones don't really matter. I just like Gamma Seal because of the low attack points, and Godaria, it has lower attack points as well. You don't really want to what do you call it? You don't really want to have the higher attack points ones, because Necros aren't the best at running over big beat sticks. Next up, we play 3 copies of Manju and 3 copies of Senju. You have to play these, obviously. Your main searches. It can suck if you draw like a Manju and a Senju, but it's okay because it lets you get advantage later on in the game, because Necros aren't known for OTKing. Like, they could do it by something like a Trishula discarding a Decisive Armor, then attacking with Manju and Unicorn, and then finishing off with Cowboy, but OTKing isn't the thing that Necros normally do. It's more like banish your opponent's stuff and then beat them by the second turn. Normally you win by the second turn. If you're still grinding it out by then, you can lose to the grind game, because obviously Necros aren't as good with recovery as they were before. Obviously banishing spells from the graveyard is still really good. So 3 copies of Manju, 3 copies of Senju. There is no reason to cut this down to any other number except what I've just said. And then we play for the non-ritual Necros monsters 1 copy of Dance Princess. This card is amazing. Cycling back Unicorn tributing Dance Princess is one of my most beloved plays, seriously, because you can, like, after you banish your Brio, you can cycle back Unicorn by tributing Dance Princess, and then you'll get your Necros of Brionic back. So that's really strong, because then Brionic can get you into a Valk or a Trishula, and then you can just go on from there. So you don't know how many times I've drew this card and I just realised, oh wait, I can summon Unicorn, I can get back in this. So many times it's won me the game or saved me from dying the next turn. So definitely Dance Princess, plus its on-field effect is really good. The fact that it protects your monsters from being targeted. A lot of the time people will summon like something like Fairy Tail Snow and try to target your Unicorn or your Valk or Trishula or something like that, and you'll be like, no, you can only target Dance Princess, because Dance Princess says that, what is it again? It says that she can only be targeted, other Necros monsters can't be targeted, so that is really strong as well. You don't really normal summon it too much, but when you do, that is another nice thing that can come up. Next up we play, this is my super spicy tech, one Phantom of Chaos. I saw this in a profile on Olympio's channel. It was back when Necros were at full power. And I realised that, okay, I'm going to try this out. So I tried it out and I was like, yes, this is absolutely amazing. This is what Necros need. Like, seriously, a lot of people stopped playing this. Like, they played it for a little bit. They were like, oh, it's kind of cute, but it's not the best thing. But I think it's really good. Even if it's a dead draw, you can tribute off with Valk. And here's the thing. The best thing is, this is what I was saying, it's easier to get off Valk's effect. So you normal summon this, you banish Valk from graveyard, and then you can use Valk's effect in the form of Phantom of Chaos. So at worst, it's you normal summon, tribute him, draw, or tribute him and something else and draw 2. I think it's really strong, the fact that you can banish Valk, you can banish Brio from your graveyard, shuffle back 2 Dantes, or shuffle back 2 extra deck monsters. So yeah, the one Phantom of Chaos is really good. I wouldn't bump it up to 2 or 3 or anything like that. One's good, it's just another nice tech that you can put in, and it does boost the power of the deck. So one Phantom of Chaos, definitely a really good card. Next up, we play 3 copies of Gishki Vision. I hate playing this card so much. I really wish I could play 3 copies of myself, but just you have to play Gishki Vision for now, because I find it really hard a lot of the time to go into my Trishula plays and go into my Valk plays and go into Decisive Armor and even Gunge sometimes. But with 3 Gishki Vision, it makes it easier because Gishki Vision counts as a full tribute. Only if Gishki Vision was a Necros monster like myself, and you could banish it from the graveyard to summon Trishula, because that would be absolutely amazing. But it is really strong, the fact that you can cycle back Trishula by tributing this. It's always a good card. It can be dead if you draw multiples, but I haven't drawn multiples ever before, I don't think. So it is alright. I used to play 2 in a Diva, but I realised I want to use my normal summon on Manju and Senju. So 3 copies of Gishki Vision is 100% fine. I wouldn't really cut it down to 2 because I barely see it. So as much as I hate playing it, you have to play it now. I think MrEpicOST, you've said something about hating Gishki Vision as well, so shout out to you down in the comment section. Actually, your name isn't Anime. I just realised it's Amin, as in like A-M-I-N-E. Okay, so I need to stop calling you Anime now, plus your wrong name. But next up, here's where the teching gets amazing. We are playing the Windwitch engine. 3 Windwitch Ice Spell, 1 Glass Spell, and 1 copy of Snowbell. I might put Crystal Wing in the thumbnail actually, so you guys clickbait. It's not really clickbait actually. You just, if you see Crystal Wing in a Necros profile, you're like, whoa, I want to click on this right now. So yeah, 3 copies of Ice Spell, 1 Glass Spell, 1 Snowbell. Some people play 2 Glass Spell. I don't want to play 2 because one's enough. If you draw it and Ice Spell, you can still go into the Crystal Wing play. You just have to use your normal summon for it. But that's 100% fine, that is no issue at all. Or if you have to use your normal summon and not summon a Manju Senju, but you get a Crystal Wing out of it, I think it's totally worth it. So the Windwitch engine, I think it's what Necros needed. I was thinking, okay, this deck's powerful, but all I do is Trish them, and as good as Trishing is, if it gets stopped, or if I can't do it, or if I brick, it's not the best thing. So the fact that Ice Spell is 1 card, Crystal Wing is really broken, and the fact that we don't use the extra deck, we don't really need it that much, you can go into ranked 4s, is a good thing, because that means no clashes, just go into the Crystal Wing, and then even if you summon Unicorn or something afterwards, after summoning the Crystal Wing, it doesn't really matter too much, because the Crystal Wing still can't be destroyed by card effects. I'm pretty sure, if I'm wrong, tell me down in the comment section, but it gives you a play going first, because this deck is known for going second to Trish them, but the fact that the Windwitch engine can allow you to go first as well and set up just a Crystal Wing rather than just summon Unicorn to kind of lock on, because as good as Unicorn is, it's got lower tap points, so it's a bit hard to maintain even with protection from Decisive Armor and Gunge. So yeah, the Windwitch engine, I would really not cut this right now. I think this is what really is keeping the deck going and keeping it very powerful. Plus Windwitch Ice Spell is an amazing bait card. If they have a strike or something, you just activate Ice Spell and you lose that Ice Spell, but it's fine because it's kind of a 1-for-1, plus your opponent loses 1500 life points, so it can help you push the game as well. So I would not cut the Windwitch engine. Please guys, try it out if you guys are fans of Necros, because it is really amazing. The only clashes if you draw Slumber and Ice Spell, but that's no big deal, because you can use Slumber if your opponent has a big board, or you can use Ice Spell if they don't, and their board isn't much of a threat, and you need their board there to do your Trishula play or something like that. So that's the only kind of little clash there, but it's 100% fine. It barely ever comes up. So that's all the monsters. We are playing 31 monsters. It is a heavy monster lineup, as you would expect from a ritual deck. For the spells, it's pretty generic. It's 2 Kaiju Slumber. Slumber is an amazing card, definitely one of the best board wipes ever, Regeki being the best. I would probably rate Slumber as better than Dark Hole, even though Dark Hole is more generic. The fact that Slumber puts a higher attack monster on your board is really, really strong. So 2 Slumber, wish it was at 3, it's not. It might get limited. If it gets limited, I'm not going to be happy at all. But it hasn't been dominating the meta as much as it used to before, when Zodiac Kaiju and stuff like that were a thing, because people stopped playing Zodiac Kaiju a while ago, ever since Rapier got hit to 2 and the deck lost some of its power plays, and then it got even more powerful with Fusion Sub Combo. Right, enough about Zoo. Then we played the Ritual spells, which is 2 Mirror, 2 Kaleidoscope, 2 Cycle, the 2-2-2 ratio. People be like, why are you playing Cycle for? Well, because Gishki Vision, and I'm playing 3 copies of that. So Cycle is definitely one of the strongest ritual spells. I use Mirror for the Trishula play, Kaleidoscope for Unicorn and potentially Unicorn and Valk, and then Cycle is most of the time to bring back Unicorn or bring back Trishula, or even Decisive Vomit, or even Valk, to be honest. Like, Cycle has so much potency, it can do so much in the deck, and it's really a huge help. And then finally, the last card of the deck is definitely one of my most favourite cards of all time, Preparation of Rites. Hashtag to 2 on the next ban list. That card is so coming back to 2. It's definitely for, I think it will come back to 2 because of the whole Vendred marketing and stuff. So if that card comes back to 2, I'm going to be really happy, because it's another search card that I can utilise in Necros. So that's it for the main deck. That was 9 spells and 31 monsters. It's a really solid main deck. You don't brick too often, and it has really good side out options. Like, you can side out the Kaiju, you can side out Dance Princess, you can side out Gunge, even Decisive Armor, even one Valk if you want. So there are a lot of potential side out, and Phantom of Chaos. I would never side out the Wind Witch engine because it's good going first or second. So then we have the extra deck. I play 2 Arclights. People be like, you don't need 2 Arclights. Well, I've needed some a lot of the time, and my extra deck isn't really the thing I rely on too much, so I do have space in it. I'll explain why I need 2 Arclights. I used to use 2 because of the Diva play, but obviously I cut Diva, so some people say, why do you need 2 then? It's because if you cycle back a different monster, like potentially a Gunge or a Decisive Armor or a Trishula, or not a Trishula, it's probably Gunge, Decisive Armor or Valk, using Dance Princess, then you can use Dance Princess to get back Unicorn, and then Kaleido into Unicorn again, which is really strong. It comes up quite a bit actually, and I found it really annoying when I could do that play, but I didn't have the second Arclight in my extra deck to be able to do that play. So that's why I decided to put Arclight to 2. It's no big deal. If you want to play 1 and risk not being able to do the play when you want to do it, or when you need to do the play, that is 100% fine. I understand that. Next up for the other synchros is 1 Quasar Dragon and 1 Star Dragon. You don't really need Star Dragon. I put it in because I have needed to Kaleido into Gunge and Colossalus before, but because this extra deck has a lot of space in it, it's 100% fine to play Star Dragon. You have to play Quasar Dragon because a lot of the time you can Kaleido for Trishula and Colossalus, because this deck does search quite a bit, and you can get the potential cards into your hand to do that play. And then for the Crystal Wing play, I play 1 Crystal Wing and 1 Winter Bell. You can choose between Clearing and Winter Bell. Clearing is good as well because you can tune Ash Blossom, which is in the side deck, with a Manju to summon Clearing as well. That's pretty strong. But I really do like the damage that Winter Bell does, because it can help you OTK, because they only take 500 from Ice Bell, and then they take 800 from Winter Bell, so that's 1300 damage, and that can really push for the OTK, because if you manage to like attack with a Crystal Wing, a Trishula and a Manju, that should be more than enough to finish them off after them taking the burn damage. Next up we have the Xyz for generic rank 4s. We have Dweller. Dweller's really good in this deck because most of the time you'll have Unicorn underneath it, so all your water monsters will be boosted by 500, so even Trishula will go up to 3200, and Dweller will be 2200, so it's a bit harder for them to out Dweller by attacking over it, and Trishula can even go after Masterpiece and cards like that that have high attack points. For example, maybe Alternative White Dragon or Blue Eyes if you're playing against the Blue Eyes deck. Then we play Castell, Universal Problem Solver, one of the best rank 4s of all time, to be honest. Detach 2 materials, shuffle back anything. That is really strong. It can shuffle back like snows or stuff if you don't want to kill the snows. So Castell's a really good card. And next up, this card is necessary as a rank 4. This is Diamond Direwolf. This card's really good because you can overlay your Unicorn, your Manju, and then pop the Direwolf, pop an opponent's card, and then your field will be empty, and you can get searches off the spell. So the fact that Direwolf pops itself is really, really strong. And what you can do is you can summon Unicorn, get your search, do the Direwolf play, and then if you have an Ice Spell in hand, you can go for Crystal Wing because your board will be empty as well. So that's another thing that you can do. So Direwolf is really good in this deck. For the other generic rank 4, we have Tornado Dragon. Tornado Dragon's really good against decks that use field spells and decks that use a heavy back row or whatever, because Necros are known for not being very good against Floodgates or not being very good against back row. So you can potentially bait out one of your opponent's back row like a strike or something by going into Tornado Dragon, because they'd much rather summon strike your Tornado Dragon and get rid of that than just let their strike die. So Tornado Dragon's a good card. There's not really much more I can explain about Tornado Dragon. Then the full Utopia package, one Utopia, the S Prime Utopia, and Lightning, of course. I play the Prime one because there's space in the extra deck, and the fact that you can potentially use Lightning twice is really strong, and I have pulled off its effect various times before because Necros don't put that many monsters up on the board. So if your board gets killed and you're down 3,000 life points, then you can just make a comeback using this card, and it is really strong. So I do like playing the Prime. If you want to cut the Prime and put other stuff in, then you can, but to be honest, there's not a lot of other stuff you can put in. And then the final two cards are this. There is Phantom Fortress, Enter Blafnir, and VFD, True King of All Calamities. Now you're probably thinking, why on earth are you playing rank 9s? So this is where it gets spicy. Basically what you do is you activate Slumber, you blow up the board, you put Thunder King on your side and any other kaiju on their side. Then you do Trishula play, and then so you banish their free cards. Then you can overlay for Enter Blafnir because Thunder King's level 9 and Trishula's level 9. And then you can banish another card from their hand, so that's two cards banished from their hand, one from their field and one from the graveyard, with Trishula and Enter Blafnir's effects combined, or you can go for VFD and potentially like zone them out for a turn and then go for more damage next turn. So them two cards are really strong. The fact that VFD is generic is really weird. I would, if it said two True King monsters, it would potentially make the True King Dino deck a little bit weaker as well. So I think VFD or Calamities should have been two True King monsters rather than generic, because other decks can abuse it, and the fact that you can use Denglong and other cards like that to go into. Right, so next up we have the side deck. Normally I wouldn't do the side deck because of this format of video where I'm editing the cards over 4K background and it takes a while to do it, but might as well give you the side deck considering I've talked about it quite a lot, and the side deck choices are really good because siding in this deck is really strong, and that's one of the best things about this deck, to be honest. So 3 copies of Ash Blossom. I play this card to side out the kaijus and put this in if I'm going first. Not if I'm going first, if I'm going second. Because some decks don't really care about being kaiju'd, or some decks don't need to be kaiju'd, like for example Light Sworn and Blue Eyes if they're not playing Chaos Max, and other decks like that don't really need to be kaiju'd. Even like Zodiac, sometimes you don't really care about kaiju'ing them too much, because Dryden isn't the worst card, because popping your stuff isn't the worst in the world actually. But we do need the kaijus in for the first game if you're playing True Draco, because if you lose game 1, it's really bad for you, because the True Draco deck is a lot stronger and they can side in other cards against you as well, because they can potentially play more strikes or more D barriers and stuff like that. So Ash Blossom to side out the kaijus and put this in going second. It's a really strong card, best hand trap right now. Ogre's still good. I personally like Ash quite a bit because it has more uses, to be honest. Next up we play one of my most favourite cards of all time. I love this card so much, Denko Sekka. 3 copies of Denko Sekka, or Danko Swagger as I call her most of the time. Whenever I summon her, I'll be like, summon Danko good, and they just get annoyed when you're just like, they're just like, it's not Danko. I go, I know, but is it beating you? But yeah, Denko Sekka 3 copies. You have to play this in this deck because this deck really does die to back row. Zaffion isn't as good, to be honest. Like, Denko has more attack points than Zaffion, shuffles itself back, and Denko can potentially be used as tribute fodder if you draw too many copies, or if you want to summon a Valk. That does come up quite a bit, so Denko's level is important as well, but most of the time it's just to stop decks like Paleo and its tracks. Such a strong card, such an amazing card. 3 copies. You don't care too much about your normal summon. I do say that you need your normal summon for the Manju and Senju, but you don't draw them all the time, and sometimes zoning out your opponent's back row rather than getting a search is a lot more important. Next up, 2 copies of Gamma Seal. The other 2 copies I got one in the main deck, as you guys already know. I play these again to side in against Dinos and True Dracos, because Dinos put up VFD and that kills you, and what do you call it? True Draco put a Masterpiece, and that card is really annoying to out. I love playing True Draco Demise, but when I'm playing against it, I'm really annoyed. So for that Masterpiece hate, we got to play 2 copies of Gamma Seal, the Sea Turtle Kaiju in the side deck. Next up for the other hand trap, we have 1 copy of Max C. I put this in against Dinos, Light Sworn, decks like that like to spam out monsters. I don't main deck it for space, and I'd much prefer to use my spicy text over main decking it. So yes, 1 copy of Maxi, because it is very important, and I want to just use it before it gets banned, to be honest. Most of the time I'll side in like 3 Ash, Maxi and Denko, take out Kaijus and stuff, card riches. 3 copies of Cosmic Cyclone against Zodiac, True Draco and Dino, banish Diagram, banish Barrage, banish other cards like that, even banish back row and stuff, to potentially make sure that you don't get struck or bait out D-barrier, because they don't know what you're playing, and most of the time they'll declare Xyz game 1, because most people are utilising the Xyz summoning mechanic in today's meta. So 3 copies of the Cosmic Cyclone, really important card. I would not take this out of the side deck for anything, to be honest. I wouldn't play Twin Twisters because I want to keep as many cards in my hand as possible for my combo plays. Next up, I play 2 copies of Dark Hole and 1 Yogeki, the board wipes. You do need these in the side deck, because being able to just clear Dryadens and clear Calamities and clear Ultimate Conductor Tyrannos and other cards like that that really do stop you in your tracks is really good. And board wipes have just generally been good a lot. In Necros, people play them a lot, because if you're against like barrier statues or kind of anti-meta deck like that, you do need these cards as well to stop you from getting locked down. So there's not really much more I can explain about board wipes. So thank you guys for watching. If you guys have watched this far, please put my favourite hashtag in the comment section, hashtag Necros Master Race. I'm pretty sure you guys will have watched this far. It's a pretty spicy profile. I would probably watch it if I wasn't making the video. But yeah, thank you guys for watching so much. I hope you Yugi no newly sub people realize that I can actually make proper videos rather than just my memes. Dodge Dante Dodge, if you guys haven't seen that, please check it out. I will put it on the end card. So thank you guys for watching once again. I don't know how many times I've said that. This has been Sure Q Epic outro music.